Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. I just realized that this will be the Monday after I get my wisdom teeth out. Pray for me. Literally pray for me. I have no idea what to expect, but when you're listening to this, some people say that after 2 days you feel okay. I don't know. But anyways, let's get into the stories. Am I the asshole? Oh, I was trying to find a ton of stories, which there weren't that many good ones, but 'tis the season with the holidays. I know that there's obviously a lot of family drama around the holidays. I was hoping that there were like Thanksgiving ones. I think I might have one or two, and I believe that this probably happened on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if it says that, but anywho, let's begin. Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law we are never moving to Virginia? My husband and I met in college. I'm from Queens, New York, and he is from Virginia. When we graduated and were deciding what we wanted for our futures, I made it very clear that I was living in New York, my life is here, and that's where I want to be my entire life. So if he wanted to move back to Virginia, we should end it. I love a woman who knows what she wants. I love a woman who knows what she wants and says that, and she's right. If that's not going to work, if you don't want to live in New York, then leave. Then we're not going to be together. That's like a huge compatibility issue. Love. He said he wanted to live in New York too, so we moved to Queens and have been here for almost 10 years. Holy, that's a long time. His mom was not happy about it and has never gotten over it, but has mostly kept her mouth shut. I have so many thoughts on this. I actually saw a TikTok yesterday of a woman, and again, like, this always boggles me, and I'm sure we've spoken about this, but basically this mom, and she was like sad, but she's like, when me and my children, right, and my husband were growing up, the girls slept in the same room together and then woke up on Christmas Day, and now they have like 3 girls or something. She's like, the oldest is married with kids, and the 2 youngest aren't married, don't have kids, but like they're all in their 20s, early 30s, or like all in their 20s. The oldest one is like late 20s, whatever. She was saying that for a while, like, they decided on, because now the one daughter has littles, that they all come over because, now she's split with her in-laws, the daughter, and they still very much wanted to keep that tradition alive for the youngs. And I think they started doing it the night before Christmas Eve. That way they still had Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to figure out their family plans. And she's like, I finally got to this point where I'm like, that was our tradition, right, with our daughters, but maybe they want to make other traditions. And as the other daughters get married and have kids, it's going to be overwhelmingly harder to get everybody together on the same day. And I understand, like, trying and wanting to keep traditions alive and find a day that works. But I also just spoke to, when I picked up May after Thanksgiving, my very, very close friends, family friends, watched her, and I picked her up. Basically, I met this family because I was friends with the son, and then he has a younger sister who's my age. So he's a little bit older than me, and then he has a sister, and then it's his parents. And I picked up May from his parents because they had all gone back home, and I was talking to her because now they're both married, the 2 kids who are my age. And she's like, it doesn't really matter if it's on the day. Like, she was basically being a chill mom, and they're in their 50s. She's like, who am I to like hoard my children? They have other family to go to. And she's like, I don't really care. Of course I want to see them. But if that's, a week before Christmas, perfect. Okay, I don't need it to be on the day, and I'm not going to demand that my children come every single holiday. And I'm like, totally, it's just not realistic. And what always baffles me is parents, because this is like a common thing that happens where you hear of in-laws or maybe your own parents, whatever the thing is, One of them, and typically it's the mom, right? Because dads typically don't give a shit, where the mom is very controlling and very much wants them to be there for the holidays and like is psycho about it. And it's like, okay, so when you were our age, like let's talk about me and Carter. Obviously my parents weren't together, but let's say they were, right? Or just as it was. If my mother, right, like when her and my dad, in theory, made family traditions, it's like they broke off from their parents. I never went up and spent it with my mom's parents. I did see LaDon and Gordy, and we always did Christmas Eve there, but like you didn't have to. And I had cousins that would be there sometimes and not be there the others, but like nobody was demanding that we're there. But it's like, you broke off from your parents. Like this woman who was talking on TikTok, it's like you created traditions with your children, right? That wasn't with your parents. And then now, like parents who demand that their children, who now have their own children, come to them. It's like, no, you did that same thing. You broke off from your parents to spend time with your kids, but now you're not allowing your own children to do the same thing. It just like doesn't ever make any sense to me. It's similar to when like parents are just controlling in their children's life in general. Like we get this all the time where men are way too close to their moms and they can't make decisions. I'm sorry, I hate to throw the moms under the bus, but it's always the moms because dads are never really, in my experience, the ones who give a shit. And like can't make any decisions without their parents and like have their parents in their marriage. And it's like, you and your husband did the same thing. Were your parents in yours? No, you created a family with children. Like, why would you now be involved in your children's lives? You know what I mean? Not involved, but like in the decision making and all of that. That always just like doesn't really make sense to me. Anywho, I'm getting carried away. Let's keep going. Flash forward to now. I'm pregnant with our first, a boy, and we went to visit his family for Thanksgiving. The entire visit, his mom kept making comments about how sad she is that she won't be able to see her grandson grow up and how there's so much more family in Virginia and how my family is so small. For context, yes, my family is small. It's just my mom, my cousin, her two kids, and an aunt and uncle, but we are extremely close and see each other multiple times a week. I'm gonna freak out. She's complaining to you that she won't be able to see her grandson grow up. She expects you to move your whole entire life. You've been in New York, okay, for 10 years. Do you realize how much like moving a different state? And they don't want to. Like, I understand people have feelings, of course. I understand that we all have preferences and we would enjoy things to be a certain way. You know what? The perfect example, I would love to be closer to my family in theory. I miss them. I love them. I'm very close with my grandparents. I love my parents. Like in theory, I would want to be close to them and vice versa. I know they would love for me to be closer, which we all know they're not moving. So that would mean me moving to Bismarck. That's not happening. Right? Like I understand we all have these ideas, okay, and feelings and things we would want, but like things that just like won't happen. I get a grandmother wanting to be close to her grandson and see him grow up and see him more. But you have to understand that like you're legitimately asking them to like move their entire life so you get to see your grandson. What about them? Oh, like people never consider their feelings. I can't. And also it pisses me the fuck off that she said, and there's so much more family and her family is so small. And what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. And I know that I actually saw a TikTok about this last week. A woman, which it's funny because it's not this way with me and my husband, but this woman was saying how naturally, which I guess this probably is true, just because women are the ones who like make the plans and, you know, what was I going to say? Fonder? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? That, you know, create the relationships kind of. Like, women are notoriously the ones who like keep relationships going and make the plans and do all of that. You get what I'm trying to say? And therefore she was like, well, she wasn't making that point, but she's like, typically when a man and a woman are married and have a child, they oftentimes spend way more time with the woman's family. And I think that probably just is because women are typically like closer to family and like just, I don't know what that is. And I'm like not describing this well, but like you get what I'm saying. Like women are just, we talk more, we communicate more. I don't. This is where I fall out of the women's scale and like I just completely drop off. I'm not this person. And I've come to realize I really don't want to be that person. Like it's too much for me. And I just have been this way for so long. Could I change? Yes. But like, I don't think it's correct that, you know, a man and a woman get married. Women, he's marrying multiple women. And oftentimes the woman is now in charge of not only her relationship with her own family, but then somehow she ends up like being the one to communicate and deal with things with his family. It's like, why is it not equal? Like, why doesn't he, you know, typically manage his family and she manages his? Like, I feel oftentimes that also happens where the woman then becomes in charge of like both. And it's like, why? Like, why is the woman the master facilitator of everything? Like, I don't know. And I'm sure there are women that love that because a lot of women like the control and like to, you know, I feel we're oftentimes more type A in that way and just like to know things and get the answer and talk to the people. I'm not that person. I don't care. I want less to manage. I don't want to be managing my husband's relationships with his friends and family. It's like the gifts. It's like when the mom just takes on the role of buying the gifts for his family and hers. Like, you each know your own family, and as involved as you are with your in-laws, like you don't really, you know them. And sure, women are typically just probably better gift givers, but like, I don't know what to get them. And I'm not going to carry that burden. Like, I'm doing this for my own family. Why aren't you doing? I don't know if this is like a super modern take, but like, I just have always found that odd. And I suppose I grew up in a divorced household where I was with my dad and he didn't have a woman in his life who did that kind of stuff, right? Like he did that. He bought the gifts for his family and that was that. And like, guess what? It wasn't that hard. He did it. And guess what? He also communicated with his family and made the plans and did the things. Like, the problem is women take over, and there are things like I like helping my husband with his day-to-day life, right? And things in our immediate, like our chores. But like when it comes to his friends and family, like I don't want to be managing all of that, right? Like I would love to speak to them on my own about my own things, but like I don't want to be the one who like is coordinating with like I don't know. To me, that's like a task. I don't want more tasks. Anyways, let's keep going. We ignored the comments at first, but she kept going. Finally, she said outright, it's only fair that we move to Virginia now since we lived in New York for 10 years. Nope, her husband wanted to live there too. She said our baby would have so many cousins and aunts and uncles, and our village would be stronger there, that Virginia is safer, and that we could afford a big house with a yard, and that she's retired so she could watch the baby all the time. Have you once, ma'am, considered that they don't want that maybe? Or that they don't want the same things you want? Some people don't want a big house and a yard. Some people like don't even, you know, need or want a village. Like they're obviously making it work. They've been there for 10 years. I don't know. This is just like obviously completely selfish of this woman, the mom. It's like, what? And again, there's a fine line between, like, oh, I just wish you guys moved closer. Like an offhanded conversation or like comment, because my family does it. Like every time I speak to my grandma LaDonna, she's like, oh, do you ever want to move back to Bismarck? Kind of like jokingly, but it's not like this real thing where she's like, move back. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just so selfish. At that point, I had had enough. I told her flat out, we are never moving to Virginia. Our lives are in New York, and there's zero chance that's changing. My husband agreed immediately and said he's lived in both places and genuinely prefers New York. Yes, King, support your wife. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Also, let me back up the fact that she said outright, it's only fair that we moved to Virginia because they've lived in New York for 10 years. It's as if it's like as simple as that. Like, oh, okay, you lived there for 10 years. Now come to Virginia for 10 years. Like, what are we even? This is their life. And that's the other thing. It'd be one thing, again, like a conversation about, let's say they go to Thanksgiving at grandma's house or the paternal side, her side, and then they go to Christmas for the mom side. If it were something as small, like if she was complaining, like, can you guys come for Christmas this year instead of Thanksgiving? Like, that's a small ask. Like that, they can still say no, but like that, it makes a little bit more sense to me. Like there are small asks that like I can kind of understand. Let's say she wants the grandson to spend a Christmas at their house. Okay, again, the parents get to decide, obviously, but like that makes sense. Asking them to move their lives, their jobs, the kid, like potential, I don't know how old he is, but oh, she's pregnant. They haven't had the child yet. Still, like they have an idea for their life. Oh my gosh. She shut up after that, but my sister-in-law told me I was too harsh and I could at least consider it and listen to what she had to say. Shut the fuck up. She has been listening. She has been listening, and your mother doesn't know when to stop. Okay. I get it. The sister-in-law, it's obviously her mom, so she feels for her, but it's like, dude, understand what you're asking, and also it's not your life. Nope. Next. Okay. I've got to figure out what's going on here. My notes app isn't working, so I had to kind of detour. Oh, this is like a little bit insane, and I'm going to try and not like be canceled, but like I understand what's happening in the story. Let's just begin and we'll get through it. It's kind of insane, but we've never talked about anything like this. Am I the asshole for calling my wife a chunky monkey during sex to make a point about her double standard? I'm curious to see what you guys think, because like, I mean, I kind of agree with the man on this. That statement is insane, but like, let's get into it. I, 27 male, stand at 5'10" and weigh 211 pounds. My wife, 28 female, stands at 5'5" and weighs 273 pounds. This is relevant to this story because they obviously were talking about weight, right? We've made strong hints from the very beginning that we like each other's body type. And I want to cut in here again. There are obviously people, we all have a type, we all have preferences, and some people prefer a certain body type, right? Duh, Brenna, 2 + 2 = 4. And basically what I'm gathering from that is that they both like people who weigh a little bit more, right? I'm just going to leave it at that. Again, I don't want to say something insensitive, but like that's a real thing. Some people like, some people have like kinks and fetishes of like insanely unhealthy, like, my 600-pound life. Like that's their preference, right? But they're just saying like they like each other's body types. And I think we will go on to learn that it's kind of like one of these like kink fetish things. Okay, so let's keep going. But before this recent incident, I have been very careful anytime the topic of her weight comes up. She's still very insecure about it, and I'm very insecure about my own weight. Oh, that's sad. Here is one of my problems with this potential situation. It's fine to have preferences, and like if you have a preference of somebody who weighs a bit more, like there could probably be circumstances. And again, like physical is physical, it's important, but like what if this woman, well, and they're both insecure about it. Therefore, like, what if they wanted to lose weight and like become healthier? Would they not be attracted to each other anymore? Like, this kink fetish thing is a problem if you want them. Oh my gosh. Well, one time on TikTok, I stumbled across and I was mind blown. There is a kink or fetish, and I believe they're called feeders because I went down the rabbit hole. I apologize. Am I corrupting you guys? Oh, Brenna, I just like am so open to talk about things, but I never realized like maybe I'm bringing things up that you'd never heard about before. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. I mean, it's not that crazy, but basically they have a kink or fetish. Again, I don't even really know what kinks and fetishes the definition is, but they like get off essentially on like this person eating, or like that's why it's called a feeder. Like they feed them, but like oftentimes these people are like really, really big, right? And this woman that I came across was like, I don't know how many pounds. She was pretty large, and she had said that she was in a relationship where this man had that kink or fetish of feeding. And so she would constantly like, I don't know if it's him feeding her while they're doing it or if it's just like the weight thing or what, but like she became like, she got bigger and bigger and bigger because that was like his kink. Like that is like extremely unhealthy. That is like so, and it's dangerous. Like being wildly overweight, again, trigger warning, sorry, is like extremely unhealthy. Like if you want to double, triple, quadruple your chances of getting like a chronic illness or disease or anything, being overweight is like the way to do that. Like it is the number one thing that increases your chance of like all illnesses and diseases. That's just like a fact. I apologize. That is a fact. And essentially this woman that was like talking was basically like now trying to lose all of this weight from like this fetish that her like boyfriend had. I'm like, what? And it is like very dangerous, and you can overeat, right? Ugh. Anyways, okay, Brenna, let's keep going. A few weeks ago, she started mentioning my weight as a part of her dirty talk before and sometimes even during sex. She also started touching my soft areas. I told her a few times that I don't like it, but she keeps dismissing it. She has said I'm too insensitive. I don't like that. And that's really mean. And just because you think it's okay, if he told you that he doesn't like it, yeah, that's not okay. The last time we had sex, I called her something I wanted to call a woman during sex, but never did, as it would probably make the woman feel bad. Again, that's where I think this is like a kink or fetish. Also, we're both white, so this isn't a racial thing. During sex, I called her a sexy, chunky monkey, and I jiggled her love handles. Oh my gosh. Now, if she hadn't started it, that would be the most fucked up thing I've ever heard. No matter if you're into this sort of thing or not, like, what woman would want to be called a sexy, chunky monkey and have your love handles jiggled? Oh, that literally might end my life. That might take me out if that happened to me. Oh my gosh. She was on top, so I saw the look on her face. After the sex, she said I was very mean for calling her that. I asked about the things that she had said to me during sex. She said it's different since I'm a man and she's a woman. Nope, it's not. And I know that we think that, And I do understand partially where she's coming from, because women notoriously, we are judged by our appearance, our weight, way more than men. Like, it's not even a thing to men typically, but they can be obviously insecure about their weight, and they do think about it. They just don't have the societal pressures like we do, but like, that's not okay. It's not different because he's a man and she's a woman. She said there's a stigma around plus size women. I told her I understand that and am sorry about that, but I'm not one of the people responsible for the stigma against plus size women. I mean, he's not wrong, but like, oofda. She asked me why I'm trying to ruin our sex life. I told her I restrain my kinks to avoid making her uncomfortable, so she should do the same for me. It's that easy. Like, why is she not just saying, I'm sorry, I won't do those things. I won't say those things. That's like really fucked up, in my opinion. She said that I'm trying to put her down because I like having an insecure fat wife. I asked her if she's putting me down so she'll have an insecure fat husband. She said, no, of course not. And I asked, what's the difference? And again, she said, she's a woman and I'm a man. I'm asking this question on the very small chance that I'm missing something. Am I the asshole? No. He's not the asshole. He is 100% not the asshole. And I actually kind of give it to him for saying that during sex. I mean, it's not right, but he also like wanted to say it. And that's where I'm also tripped up. Like he just said he restrains his kinks to avoid making her uncomfortable. Like, he's been wanting to say that, which like he means it endearingly, which is like so crazy. And the part that's obviously the most bothersome is that she's not seeing that it's like not okay. Why does she think it's okay for her? Because he's a man. Like, he's point blank telling you that he doesn't like that you're saying that. He doesn't want his weight pointed out, which I will say is like, he has been restraining his kinks. So like, I'll give him that, but it is kind of ironic that he doesn't like it, but then he also wants to say the same thing. Like, I would argue either you both get to say the things, because clearly you both want to, but then both of you have to put your egos aside. See, that doesn't like really make sense to me. Like, how are you going to have that kink, but then when it's reversed, it's like not okay? I mean, I guess we're all like complex human beings and whatever, but it doesn't really make sense to me. But I do think it's really messed up that she thinks it's okay for her to do it. Regardless of like, even if that was a fact, even if it was a fact that it's okay to say it to men, but not okay to say it to women, even if that was a law, if he told you, right, just because that's like the thing that apparently it's okay to do that. If your husband tells you he doesn't like something, he's telling you he doesn't like something and you should not do that. If you care about their feelings, right? Like, he was just showing you like, it didn't feel good. Like, that's exactly how I feel. Right. And quite frankly, he's been holding himself back from saying the things, even though he wants to, because he knew it was going to hurt her feelings, even though he has this like deep desire. Yeah, she's the asshole, unfortunately. Oh, not unfortunately. That was messed up. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for laughing about a pretend allergy? There's also an update at the top, but let me start from the beginning. My parents gave up wanting responsibilities for Thanksgiving meal about 5 years ago. My house is big enough to host and I enjoy cooking, so for the past 3 years, the duties have fallen to me. I make the turkey, the stuffing, mashed potatoes and gravy, and rolls. Others bring sides and things like chips and drinks. This year, my brother and his wife came into town early and stayed over. Thanksgiving mid-morning, my sister-in-law wanders into the kitchen while I'm making stuffing. She sees my pile of breadcrumbs, celery, onion, sausage in a bowl, and me sauteing mushrooms. She says, "What are those for?" I told her they were for the stuffing. She put her hands on her hips and said, freaking out, "You can't put mushrooms in the stuffing. I'm allergic." I was stupefied. I said, when did this happen? And she just looked at me like I was an idiot. So I said, when did you discover you're allergic to mushrooms? She scoffed and said, I've always been allergic. Now, the thing is, when I make my stuffing, I like things to be well incorporated, and I always chop the mushrooms small after I saute them. So they're not actually apparent in the mix as mushrooms among the other ingredients. I burst out in a laugh and said, well, that's interesting because you weren't allergic last year and you weren't allergic the year before. Oh! Damn, I mean, yeah, if she's been eating them every single year, clearly she's not allergic. She asked me what I meant, and I told her that I'd been making my stuffing like this every single year she's eaten it, and furthermore, she's raved over it and had zero allergic reaction. So maybe she's not allergic. Damn. Maybe she just thinks she doesn't like mushrooms. She got pissed and went to my brother to tell him, and she told him she wanted to leave, but he wanted to stay. So she spent the entire rest of the day shooting daggers at me with her eyes. Girl, I get it. You just got caught lying, and maybe she didn't know she was lying. Maybe she genuinely thought she was allergic, but clearly you're not, right? And I'm trying to think if I'm in this situation. I'm making it. I've always made it this way. Somebody comes up to me and says they're allergic. I mean, I would have said the same thing. Maybe I wouldn't have laughed. I mean, maybe I would have, though. It is in my nature to laugh. Like if they said they were allergic, but you know for a fact, they rave about it, they eat it every single year, you're not allergic, right? I mean, I think it's helpful that you get her to the bottom of whatever she thinks this is, this allergy. Oh, that's tough though, because of course she feels dumb, right? And again, like she probably did think that for whatever reason. I mean, maybe she just didn't like them and then started saying she was allergic, and then that just like became the lie that she believes is real. Who knows? Or maybe she thought she was like genuinely, but then never had them, and now she's discovering that she's not. I mean, I get why she would feel, I don't think she should be throwing daggers at you. You didn't do anything. You were just telling her like you've been eating them before, right? Like, which I think is the right thing to tell her. I mean, it also is in my nature to act like that doesn't happen and just be like, oh, okay. No, but like if this person raved about them prior, I mean, I probably would have said the same thing. But yeah, I don't know why she's mad at her. Yeah, she might feel stupid and embarrassed, but like laugh it off. Like if that were, now I'm putting myself in the girl's shoes. Like if I thought I'd been allergic and then somebody's telling me like you ate them before, I'd be like, oh, really? What the fuck? That's crazy. Okay, I guess I'm not allergic. Or maybe be apprehensive, but like I would just laugh it off. It's not this girl's fault. I don't really understand the issue. They were supposed to stay through the weekend, but they left Thanksgiving night. I confided in my mom and my sister yesterday, and they kind of chuckled and said it's not my fault, but my brother texted me this morning that I could have just not used the mushrooms and that I made his wife feel stupid for no reason. I maintain I didn't make her feel anything. Am I the asshole? No. What? Your brother said you could have just not used them, but she always uses them and the girl always eats them. She made herself feel stupid. It's not the sister's fault. Oh my God, that's so stupid. But let's go to the update. First, thanks everyone, even those of you who said I am the asshole. You gave me a lot to think about. I just got off the phone with my brother and I'm sitting here with a beer, truly at a loss for words, but here it goes. Oh, wait, was this a man? I don't know why I always just assume it's a woman. This year, my brother and wife, I guess it's probably a man. It is 100% a man. And I didn't even think about that. I just thought, I don't know, women and cooking. Like, I feel men, you know, in my family on Thanksgiving, like the men do the meat, but like LaDonna does all of the stuffing and all of the sides. I bet this is a guy. And that even makes more sense why he like outwardly laughed, because men have the tendency to be assholes, right? So like that checks out. Oh my gosh. The reason I'm saying that, this is also, I'm just like being sexist left and right, but he said he's sitting here drinking a beer, which women can sit at home and drink beers, but that just gives me man vibes. Okay, let me back up. Just got off the phone with my brother and I'm sitting here with a beer, truly at a loss for words, but here it goes. He admitted that my sister-in-law, who has been eating my stuffing and my sister's green bean casserole, this has been verified, for a few Thanksgivings now, did not know there were mushrooms in either. Also, she has never told anyone, including my brother, aka her husband, not my mother, sister, or me, of any allergies before now because she doesn't have any. I am this guy. I'm 100% this guy in this scenario. Like, you know, when people are being stupid, it's like, what? Girl. And also, how would your husband not know you have a, like, did she pull this out of her asshole? Like, I feel that would come up very early on. Not that mushrooms pop up often, but like if you got to eat, or it's just like natural in conversation to like bring up your allergies. Yeah, that's crazy because she doesn't have any. Well, he's not wrong because clearly she's been eating mushrooms and not having an allergic reaction. Oh my gosh. Apparently, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, she has like a phobia, I guess is what you would call it. Maybe that's not the right word, but after watching a TikTok video about some edible mushrooms growing on dead skin on feet or in human bodies, she believes she can be infected by eating them. Oh my gosh. He tried assuring her it wouldn't happen, but she cited other videos she's watched about spores, etc., including the show The Last of Us, which he explained is fiction created from a video game, but she swears it's based on fact and still possible. I feel like we have bigger problems here than the stuffing. I have encouraged him to try to get her to see a doctor to talk about this. Okay, well, I'm not laughing at the phobia because people do have phobias. But that's the thing, like, say it's that. Don't say you have an allergy if you just like have a fear. And that's okay if you have a fear, but like bring that up and then don't eat the things. Like, I think it would still, even if she was allergic, like, you know, depending on the level of allergy, like similar to peanuts, like, you know, people who have such bad allergies that if they smell it, they breathe it in, they could have a reaction. And then there's people who like they would have to ingest it. Like there are people that would be like, yeah, make the peanut whatever, I just won't eat it. Right? Like depending on the severity of the allergy, and even this isn't an allergy, I'm just saying, like if you were slightly allergic, I still think it'd be inappropriate to ask people to make the food a different way. Just like don't eat the things with mushrooms. Now, if it was like if she smells it and has an allergic reaction, then you would like need to tell people, or like you can't come, like no mushrooms. That makes sense to me. However, this is a phobia, and I'm not going to sit here and downplay people's phobias because like those are real things. Right? To have these like deep fears of certain random things, and like we can't really control that. But like, number one, she lied and said it was an allergy. Like, no, you just have a fear of it. I mean, I don't think she needs to get help. I think she could just simply avoid mushrooms and that would be easy. Like that's her thing. That's whatever. I mean, if it's like a serious issue, if it's like impacting their life, then maybe see a doctor over this phobia, because some people with phobias can be debilitating, or the fears or the phobias can be debilitating, where like they're scared of things out in the real world and they like never leave their house. Like that would, you know, require either, I don't know if a therapist or a psychiatrist, like what kind of doctor helps, but like that makes sense to me. And I think you would do that. Like if my husband had some sort of weird thing that like prevented him from living his life, like a phobia, go talk to somebody. But like if this is something she can avoid, like whatever, come to Thanksgiving and like now you know the stuffing and then the green beans have mushrooms, don't eat them. Right? But it does make me feel a little bit worse for her. Like the reason she was embarrassed was because it's like a phobia, or she got caught in the lie, or both, right? That makes me feel a little bit bad, but he's not the asshole. I'm glad that they're getting to the bottom of this, but that's like also weird to not tell your husband about that. Like, I feel that's something your husband would know. I don't know. Let's move it along. Next. Oh, this is so interesting. It's really not like that deeply interesting, but I'm curious again to hear your guys' takes, what you think about this. Am I the asshole for telling my wife she should take the car if she wants alone time instead of asking me to leave the house with our kids? My wife works from home part-time, 2 to 3 days a week, and is the main at-home parent to our 2 kids. Okay. We live in a tiny apartment with very thin walls, so I understand that it's overwhelming, and she's always been a very introverted person who needs more alone time than most people. 1 to 2 times a week, I take the kids out for about an hour or two so she can have the house to herself. She really appreciates it. The issue is that now she wants this every day for longer and wants me to drop whatever I'm doing to take the kids out whenever she needs space. Oh, I didn't like read this at all. I just kind of skimmed it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Okay, let me keep going and then I'll give my thoughts. I've obliged several times when she's been explicitly asking for it, even when it was inconvenient for me, but I've started feeling taken advantage of. I also work full-time outside the house Monday through Friday, so the home is my decompression space too. Sometimes I just want to relax and watch TV without being sent out of my own house. Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. That sucks and that's crazy. Recently, she asked me again to take the kids out so she could have the house to herself. I said no because I feel like this nice thing I was doing has become an expectation. I told her she's welcome to take the car and have alone time somewhere else if she needs it. She said that's unfair because she wants to relax at home, not outside. I said it's also my home, and if she needs the quiet time, she can relocate. I just don't want to be displaced anymore. I told her that I'll take the kids out when I genuinely want to do something nice for her, but I don't want to be told to leave my house every time she wants quiet. Oofta. That is so hard, and I've never thought about this, and it does make it hard that they're in an apartment. And what I'm about to say, if you're a mom, I know you're going to be like, ha, because I understand that mothers are the primary parent typically. Like, kids always want the mom. When I first read this, I'm like, why can't she just go into her room? And I think you still could do this. I think the people that will laugh at this just like don't know how to put their foot down, right? Sorry. I know it's, easier said than done. I don't have kids. This is me just talking out of my ass. But like, if she needs alone time, just like, okay, mom's in her room. When mom's in her room with the doors closed, we don't fucking go in there. Right. Like, I get it. The walls are thin, but like, if she could find a way to like lock herself away, and like that way he can at least be like in the living room with the kids, like make sure the kids don't go in there. And I get it won't be quiet. The kids will be playing, but like also you chose to have these children. And like, this is the thing. I do believe, and I've spoken about this 100 times, and I say this to everybody I know, that when I have children, God willing, whatever, with my husband, my only fear, I don't have a fear around being a bad mom. I don't have a fear around raising kids. I don't have a fear about anything like that. I feel like I will do a very good job, my very best. My fear is this, like losing my goddamn mind, like not getting enough me time that I'll crash out. That is my legitimate fear. And I think it's a normal one to have. Like, that's the only thing, because I am also introverted. I am also very independent. And the thought of having these little shits running around who constantly need me kind of makes me claustrophobic. Not claustrophobic, but like, you get what I'm saying. And I have talked to my husband about this. Like every time we talk about kids, I'm like, I need you to know I either need help or like, when you're home and it's hard because he's going to be like super busy working, I'm going to need a second to myself every single day at some point, right? Like I would never be a stay-at-home mom. Like I just would crash out. I just like know myself. And like, I think that's okay to say, right? And therefore, that's like one of my biggest fears. So I understand where this woman is coming from. She's with the kids. But again, like I know that going into it. So like I've talked to my husband at, what do you call that? Like ad nauseum or whatever. I'm like totally butchering that. And like I will have hired help. Like whether it's a babysitter or something for, an hour or every couple of, whatever the thing is, like I know that and I'm going to accommodate for that, but I don't think people really think that deeply before having kids. And not to say like these people, I'm sure love their kids and want kids, but like if you knew that you were this deeply like needed your own time, which you can never really understand what it's like to have kids until you have kids. Like I don't even know, but again, I feel this should have been talked about before and they live in an apartment. Like if it were a house, for example, like this house I live in, yeah, like mom needs a second. I'm going to be in my room. They have the rest of the house. They have the yard, like do whatever, but like do not bother mom for this 1 hour while I sit and doom scroll because I need a goddamn second to myself. But it is completely unfair because also like him leaving the house with the kids is like so hard, like to put them in the car seats, to find something to do. It also costs money because like they're going to have to go and do something, whether it's go to the zoo or I guess you don't have to go find a park, but like that is way harder on him. But I do understand at the same time, like telling her that she should leave, that's not like really relaxing. Like I guess maybe go sit in the car, go drive somewhere and just sit in the car. But like, yeah, you're not in the comfort of your home. So I do understand, but she's the one with the issue, right? And she needs to find a way herself to make that work without like burdening her husband. Like it sounded like it was working before, like once or twice a week that he goes and takes the kids out. I'm sure he could go to a movie, whatever. Like there's something to do, but like every single day, that's like a lot to ask of a person. But I wanted to bring this up because I feel like this is a good thing to think about. Like, what are you going to do when you need a second? Right? Have you spoken to your husband about what needs to take place? That way you can decompress. Right? Or like, I don't know how old the kids are and I never know like kids' like, sleeping schedules. Could we maybe put the kids to bed at 7 and then you can relax from 7 p.m. on? Like get them on a sleeping schedule. Get them on like, I'm all for getting those kids like, structuring their life to benefit you. I don't know, call me crazy, but those are my thoughts. Okay, next. Oh, this is another Thanksgiving one that I thought was really interesting. Will I be the asshole for refusing to bring $100 minimum to Thanksgiving? My family and I celebrate Thanksgiving every single year with my siblings, parents, and their kids, roughly 20 to 25 people, including the children. My family is only 2 people with 1 6-month-old baby. In the group chat, it was decided that my nephew would cook meat since he bought a grill. He also told us that we could bring the sides. He chose to spend $300 on meat. I messaged in the group chat that we would bring mashed potatoes. My sister responded that every family, in quotations, has to bring $100 worth of food minimum or help my nephew pay for the meat. I'm not totally against the idea of bringing that much food, but just the way it was presented and the fact that it wasn't agreed upon beforehand makes me upset. The following day in the group chat, my sister said, option 1, bring food enough for everyone, not just yourself. Option number 2, help Thomas pay for meat, $100 a family. Option number 3, help dad pay the water bill, $200 a family. Choose wisely. Wait, I'm so fucking sorry. What are we talking about? Upset, I responded with option 4, don't show up. Am I being an asshole if I don't show up at all in protest to this $100 minimum rule? Okay, I have a lot of questions. Number 1, if the nephew couldn't afford to buy the meat, he's right, the person who wrote this in, or she, that should have been spoken about prior. Say little nephew Jimmy wants to do the meat, but he doesn't have $300. Can we all chip in? And here's the other issue I'm having. My family and I celebrate Thanksgiving every single year. Siblings, parents, and their kids, 20 to 25 people. So assuming it's a pair, parents, this couple, the other couple, that's 6 people. I'm assuming there's another, he said sibling, so that's another pair. So there's at least 8, 4 pairs. How many grandkids? That would put 12. I'm going to guess there's another pair. So that's 5, we're talking about families minimum. 10 couples or 5 sets, 10. Are you following along? For each of them, it says help Thomas pay for meat, $100 a family. He'd be making money. If there's at minimum 3 sets of families, let alone, I think there's at least 5 with this amount of people, that would be $500. Or it says $200 a family to help dad pay. And I get it. Here, let me be the first to say money is hard right now. And I get that. I've been seeing people on TikTok, families this year aren't doing gifts. And I get that, right? But this should have been spoken about prior. To demand, and on one hand it's whatever, but also if you all wanted to chip in and help the nephew, he spent $300 on meat, which I feel is a wild amount. I feel you wouldn't have to spend that. No offense, I feel you could have gotten meat for cheaper, but whatever. You should have looked at that prior and said, hey, I want to make this for the family, can everybody chip in $50? I feel that would be, maybe not a normal thing, but I could understand that. Everybody's going to be eating it, to help make the holidays. If the nephew is struggling with money, that's I get that. I'm not going to shame somebody for that, but he went out and bought the meat and now they're demanding it after. That's a little odd. I think that that's a little bit odd. Option 1, bring enough food for everyone, or the option of $100 worth of food minimum. That's just such a bizarre requirement because what is $100 amount of food? I feel that would be way too much fucking food, especially if every family, which again, there's 5 families, they're each bringing $100 worth of food. I feel this could have been coordinated better. And you guys have been doing this every single year. This has never been a problem. Why is it a problem now? Right? I'm not sure. And again, maybe money is tight, but then there should have been conversations as a family prior. Also, there's an update at the bottom and it says, I'm a teacher, and she posted a picture of my salary she found online to shame me in the group chat. Definitely not going now. Oh my God. Your sister posted your salary? What? Because she thinks that you're being cheap? No, that's not the issue. Nobody ever said here that they can't pay the whatever you guys are asking, but it's the fact that you're asking this after the fact. Only show up to Thanksgiving if you're bringing X amount. That just to me is not the holiday spirit. No offense. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel they should have went about this completely different. And I think just don't go. They want to make money off of you, or they just are expecting you to spend a certain amount. I just think that's crazy. Because what if you went and got potatoes and then made mashed potatoes and there was enough for everybody? You're telling me you have to go out, and how would they even know? Oh my gosh. And also help dad pay the water bill. Again, if your dad's struggling, each family could chip in, let's say $50. Yeah, that's actually insane. Maybe don't have Thanksgiving this year. If everybody's struggling, maybe let's not do this. because it also sounds like everybody's going to be goddamn angsty anyways. Like everybody's going to be pissed off because everybody wants money. Yeah, those are not the vibes. Those are my thought, not the asshole. Okay, you guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had the best weekend. I can't wait to catch up on Friday. We'll be talking everything wisdom tooth as long as I can chit chat with you guys. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be fine by then. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much. I hope you have the best week, and I'll see you on Friday. Okay, bye guys.